Wow. Got it out. Hey, it's me, your good buddy, Matt D, once again over here in the old game garage. Whew, it's cold. Got a haircut. Got them all cut. Cut it myself. Last week, like you needed to know. Last week was old Army Men, Soldiers of Misfortune, a third-person classic, and I say that with a soft K. Yeah. Watch the last video. This week, Asphalt 3D, which if you look at the reviews, also, but those reviews are, I'll get into that in a second. This is, I believe, a 3DS launch title. It doesn't have a lot of drivers. Came out hot off the gate with this one, Asphalt 3D, by Gameloft, which I think is a French developer, 2011. So what this really is, let's just get into it. What this is it's a direct conversion of the Apple iOS game Asphalt 6 Adrenaline. I don't know if they added more bonus stuff. I've never played. I've played very few phone games, with the notable exception of the Stranger Things games, because it was a lot like Adventures of, or it's like a classic Zelda game. Over the top puzzles. It's pretty good. Way off the thing. Anyway, you know what? I'm just going to read the back. Some of this is on the back here, as we do. Hold on, subs. The first ever authentic 3D racing experience on Nintendo. 42 licensed vehicles. Lamborghini, Ferrari, Aston Martin, and more. Like the Bugatti. Apparently you can get a Bugatti in this. Who cares? Thrilling racing with the stereoscopic 3D technology 17. Exotic terrains such as Aspen, Rio de Janeiro, and Las Vegas. I played Aspen. It's good. It's fun. So like I said, it's a direct conversion of Asphalt 6, which, like I said, I never played, which automatically made people hate this. I mean, people... Inside baseball, when I do a review, sometimes, like, I mean, obviously I play the game, but also I like to sometimes read what other people wrote. Like, kind of get an idea of, like, what was people in people's mindsets, what was going on in that era. I think it was over 10 years ago. What was going on? Well, what was going on was a lot of Asphalt 3D hate. Seriously, everything from poor controls, a lot of people's numerous bugs, miscellaneous, poor visuals, choppy frame rate, honestly a lot of stuff that, if you are playing stuff like this, or have ever played something like this, to argue about like a choppy frame rate suddenly seems just weird. People complained about the drift, because the drift, you hit the brake once to automatically drift, and like if you hit it again, it kind of sort of resets that drift. I don't know. I'm not a car. I don't actually know how cars physics work, and I'm not a professional racer. But I do know when you play video games, they just sort of have mechanics, and that's just how they work. And I just kind of assumed that's how the drifting and brakes work in this game. Honestly, I don't even usually use drift a lot in games, because I find that anytime you hit a brake, it kind of slows you down. So I am always on various forms of the accelerator. I generally like to go into a turn. This is something I read from like a Hunter S. Thompson book, where you kind of... the torque of accelerating into a turn apparently is a thing you can do. So generally, if I know a turn is coming, I can deaccelerate and then accelerate into it. That's my little secret. Personally, there's like cops in the game that can like pull you over. It's all street races. So as you are racing, you often have to deal with oncoming traffic, which pays zero attention to what you are doing. These are all things that people complained about, but I'm going to say you're great. I don't know if you've ever driven before, but the other cars don't really give a shit about you. I, if you go on Reddit, idiots in cars, it's all day long people not caring, driving directly into other dudes and dudettes. It's it is wild. And then the whole cop thing was like, yeah, dude, they're the cops. It doesn't make sense that they can totally keep up with your supercharged car. Yeah, well, they can. And that's just the kind of wrinkle you have to deal with, which, again, I thought was kind of a fun wrinkle. It's not a great racing game, but I will say it's a solid one. Having played numerous racers, I'll put it in the mix. I've not. This is episode 32. And I've played maybe 2 racers in 32 games, so there's not a lot of options out there. And hands down, the best one. By a wide margin. Other game, granted, was shovelware. Besides the point. And this is like, okay, this is kind of... People rated this game so poorly, I now just feel like I just have to talk about game reviewers. Or just the concept of reviewing in general. Like, some people actually gave this game a 0. Like, a goose egg. Like... Which means that somehow that this game, unless it also got a 0, is better than this game. And that is so beyond absurd. It is certainly not the best. Seriously, I know friends of mine that tried to get writing jobs for IGN, and I am now currently under the impression, woo! Brother, you dodged a bullet. Because apparently there's full of jackasses. And the thing that kills me about criticism is how many people... I guess it's like why it has to err on the side of negativity. Right? Like, I am always shocked at how much critique is made by people that have never physically made or created or put something out into the universe. Granted, again, not the best racing game. That is Beetlebug Racing on N64, the greatest. There has never been a racing game as good as Beetlebug Racing. But this is still not bad. It's still pretty good. I had a lot of fun. Now, there are some legitimate complaints to be made. The reviewers talked about none of them. They talked about, again, the frame rate, or I didn't, like, this was just a game that could have been on, but hey. Now, granted, you can make the argument that why would you pay for this iPhone game as a cartridge game? Legitimate criticism there. You could write a whole thing. Man, I would like to see some interesting thought pieces on that. But then just to dump on the game to be frame rate, when the real problem is the loading times. The loading times are punishing. You want to pick between 42 licensed vehicles when between every car you have to wait 3 to 5 seconds for that car to load, and it doesn't load at once and was like, I got it. If you want to go back to that car you just saw, don't worry, dog. I got you. I've got you loaded up in my memory. No, that's another 3 to 5 more seconds. Is that punishing? Yes. It's very punishing. It makes you think, I'm going to pick this car, the first car, and I'm going to stick with that one. Maybe I'll go 3 one way or 3 another way, but that's it. It doesn't make you want to explore your car options and pick the best one. It makes you just want to pick one and get going. That said, once you're in it, it's fine. Again, could you make an excuse that maybe some of the levels are a little long? Absolutely. There's a couple different... There's a career mode where it gives you like jobs and things, and it's more of a race. But then there's other like side missions, like you can try to sniper out a whole team of cars on a race, or you can just like play hot pursuit, and the whole time you're on run from the law. And I'm telling you, when you're doing some of those, by the third leg of that race, it's exhausting. it's you have put some serious time in, and like to lose at those last seconds, it hurts. But also, that's kind of what gaming is. It's not the easiest. All that is to say, I had a lot of fun with this. It's not Beetlebug Racing, but it's, and again, what is? But it's a heck of a lot of fun. Sorry, I keep on going back to these reviewers because they all lied. One of my favorites was on the bottom screen, they give you a map. And one reviewer was like, "Whoa, I can't discover the race on my own. Could you give me a map?" First of all, when you're playing a racing game on a tiny handheld, things like frame rate, I can't tell, dude. The screen's this big. I'm holding it this far from my face. Things are coming at me so fast, I don't have to. If you can see all of those graphical mistakes, good on you. And also, have fun having fun in the future, because you are going to be a miserable miser of a perfectionist. It breaks my brain that this game hovers at like a 40% with both like users and critics, when games like this can hover at 30 or 40%. It's just breaks my brain when this is something that is just higher quality and maybe a little better, but not the best. So as a critic, I've got shit on it to prove my superiority because I'm better than this game in words right here. I can't even tell you how much that drives me crazy. Yeah. Get off your ass and do something, you son of a bitch. Like Shibe Square, it's awesome. Anybody? Yeah, dude, let's keep YouTube as weird as possible and support videos in garages. Is that a thing you're supporting? Apparently, you vote with your dollars and comments down below. I'm out of treats. That's it. I'm out. Yeah, that's it. We're done. Yeah, video's over. We're out of treats. I'm sorry. Wow. I already did that stuff. That one probably ran long. But welcome to After Hours. This is where we keep things kind of loose. This is the only note I have. And this is a quick FYI. For the duration of the next part of the video, I refer to a spiny shell as a gold mushroom. Now, the reason I do this is because I don't give a shit. But it will be a little confusing. And here's the thing. I knew I had it wrong going into it the whole way. Again, just don't give a shit because spiny shells, A-okay. Love ya. It's about Mario Kart. I mean, I think we're going to talk about racers. I don't know when I'm going to talk about Mario Kart. Probably people's favorite racer. Here's a hot take. Golden mushrooms are awesome. Seriously, if you have a problem with the golden mushroom and Mario Kart, you're the asshole. 100%. Knowing a race winning any race in any racing game, the most important thing, bar none, number one, is knowing the course. If you know the course in the game, when you're playing with your friends in Mario Kart, if you know that course, you're going to win that race. That's how it works. And the more you've played the game, the more you know that course, the greater the likelihood you're going to win. So what the golden mushroom does, or the magic, whatever, the mushroom that hit the guy from the way far back gets to hit the guy way far up front, what that does is it just simply levels the playing field. It means a guy who's never played Mario Kart before, but maybe played a couple other racers, can sit down with a guy that owns the game and have a fighting shot. Like, be in the conversation of possibly winning. Now, will I win? Probably not. I might just salt it for the lead person and maybe number two gets the win. But again, it puts me in the conversation. If you don't like that mushroom, it's because you need to win and you don't like fair play. 100%. If you don't like the golden mushroom, you're the asshole. My friend who went crazy in San Francisco didn't like the golden mushroom. And now look at him. He's crazy. True story. I don't necessarily need Outracer, Ridge Racer, Need for Speed, I don't need any of them.